Hi, I'm Jacqui Blue. Welcome back to my channel. You are watching the Law of Assumption series, and this is the second video in that series. The first one tackles and reacts to Sammy Ingram, and today we're going to react to and check out Subconscious Loz. Now, I am a hypnotherapist, and the first time I heard of Subconscious Loz was from another hypnotherapist, and it was verbal. It was verbal communication, not text, not through a messenger. So when this person was talking to me, and they said, "Have you heard of Subconscious Loz?" Now, as hypnotherapists, we work with the subconscious mind. So when she said this to me verbally, I thought subconscious laws, as in like a law, LAW, like rules. But then she was like, no. Subconscious Loz, LOZ. She's a coach. No. I went and I checked out this woman. It was very early on in my discovery of the law of assumption, and I had already heard of the law of attraction because when I was going to school at the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, they had a class on the law of attraction. I won't share my thoughts on the law of attraction or on that class at this moment. This isn't about that. But suffice it to say, I'm not a believer that the way The Secret, the law of attraction, or the law of assumption explains things is actually how anything works at all. So we can get into that more later. And somebody did ask me in the comments of my first video, so I do want to address this real quick, if I believe in manifestation. Yes and no. So no, I do not, 100% do not believe in The Secret, the law of attraction, the law of assumption, and I will be one of the first people to openly tell you, in my opinion, allegedly, I believe Esther Hicks is one of the biggest frauds and phonies out there, okay? So no, I'm not into that. But do I believe in manifestation? Absolutely. Do you know what manifestation is? Like, do you actually know what the word to manifest means? Because I don't think most of you do. I think people watch The Secret and they listen to the Esther Hicks bullshit and the vortex and whatever nonsense she says, and they listen to the Neville Goddard shit, but nobody actually really talks about what to manifest something is. So let me tell you real quick. Let me sum it up, what I believe, okay? To manifest is to have an idea, a thought, and then to bring that thought into reality, into your life, to manifest it into reality, right? Make manifest. Local H, this band I loved in the 90s, they had a song called Manifest Destiny. I first heard this word back in the 90s when I was a big Local H fan, okay? I didn't know what it meant then, but that was the first time I heard the word. Now, you can't get away from hearing the word, except most people, I don't think, actually know what they're talking about. So let me give you an example. In 2015, I had an idea. I had a thought. I had an idea to make a documentary. So I wanted to manifest this idea from a thought into reality. So I spent the next 5 years working really hard on this, researching, studying, talking to people. And you know what? There were pitfalls and there were times when I thought this was not going to happen. A man who is a Grammy-nominated musician, who's an amazing and very talented man, reached out to me and wanted to work on this project for free because he cared about the subject matter. A friend of mine who's a very talented artist who I've always hoped we would collaborate and work together on a project, she reached out to me and said she wanted to do the artwork on this project, knowing these people knew I had no money, no budget to put into this, but I had the passion, the drive, the desire, and I was doing it. And people saw that, and they were attracted to that, to the fact that I had the drive, the motivation, and I wasn't letting the fact that I didn't have money or a backer or an agent or a manager or any of that bullshit get in the way. I had an idea. I was driven. I was motivated. I'm a passionate person. So I followed through. And somebody else wanted to do an opening animation for it. So all these people came together and helped me to make this manifest, but I did all the work. I did all the research. I did all the editing. I did all of the voiceover. I did most of the work on this project. To say I did it all could not be accurate because, like I said, these people came and wanted to do this. But it started out as an idea, right? In 2015, Well, I'm happy to tell you, in 2020, I released that film. I've currently pulled it, so you cannot find it anywhere online right now to watch, because I am re-editing it and I want to re-release it. I am updating it to keep it current because it addresses the S crisis. So, on that note, to make something manifest, take an idea, work at it. I'll tell you the things I did not do. I did not at any point affirm. I did 0 affirmations to make this documentary happen. None. And we got a big celebrity in it too. If you're a Supernatural fan, you might want to check out my documentary. So we got a celebrity in it. I did no affirming. I did no visualizing. I had a vision. I had a vision, but I did no visualizing. Okay. I did no scripting. None whatsoever. I did not even do SATs, which Neville Goddard talks about as states akin to sleep. What SATs actually is the theta brainwave state. It's self-hypnosis. I don't think Neville Goddard knew what that was, but as a hypnotherapist, it is self-hypnosis. So we have no SATs, no visualization, no affirming, no scripting, and I made it happen anyway. How'd I do that? Because the law of assumption and law of attraction and the secret are bullshit. So let's get into subconscious laws. Because, oh my God, if you thought Sammy Ingram was bad, wait till you hear about laws, okay? Subconscious laws, in my opinion, is one of the most unhinged personalities on the internet, period. This woman, allegedly, in my opinion only, comes off as completely batshit crazy. And we're going to jump into that. And then I'm going to read some stuff from Reddit about her as well. So let's just jump into her. I think I've given enough of an introduction about manifestation, my thoughts on it. And you can always go back and watch the first video with Sammy. I will make a bunch more. We will dissect every single thing about the law of assumption. If you have something specific that you want me to tackle, a specific concept, everyone is you pushed out, or any of those, I already have those planned out to do. But if there's anything extra you want me to do, drop it in the comments and I will make sure to cover it because I want to expose the entire law of assumption community for what it is. Let's do it, all right? If you've never heard of subconscious laws, grab a drink, grab a snack, buckle in, get comfortable. You're in for a treat. This is just a little introduction to her.
Changing my thoughts is easy for me. It's changing the feeling of anger, jealousy, hate that's hard. Huh? Just read that again. Changing my thoughts is easy. Changing the feeling of anger, well, that's a thought. The feeling of jealousy, well, no, they're thoughts. And hate, no, they're thoughts. Darling, are you fucking for real?
Okay, so she does not know the difference between thoughts and feelings. Yes, our thoughts might create or influence our feelings, but they are not the same thing. They are different things. So let me give you a very quick, simple, easy illustration of this. So if my grandmother passed away in October, she was my most important person in my entire life, and I've cried every single day since she left. But let me tell you the way it works. I don't get sad and then think about her. I have a thought about her, and then the feeling of sadness and grief takes over, and I cry like a baby. So our thoughts, the thought of my grandmother, generates the feeling of sadness and grief and tears that come up out of me, okay? So we'll get back to this, but your thoughts are not your feelings. Your thoughts might create or influence or generate your feelings, but they are two separate things. So let's just debunk this woman's credibility right off the bat.
Real? You're trying to tell me that you got all this seething feeling in your body, but it didn't come from thinking. You think you hate them. You think you're angry at them. You are jealous. They are fucking thoughts. You haven't changed your thoughts easily. You haven't changed your fucking thoughts at all if you're feeling like that. Don't bullshit me. Don't come in here going, I can change my thoughts so easily. When I'm still angry at him, I'm still jealous and I hate his guts. Ah! Okay, psycho.
Who is she calling psycho? Do you have any self-awareness, lady? Clearly not. Clearly not. Because that was not a display of a sane person, what she just did there.
You've done real well with changing that thinking, you fucking lunatic. What are you on about? Where do you think those feelings come from? That shitty thinking you haven't bothered to change because you're still blaming them because you didn't listen to a word I said at the beginning of this fucking video. Stop acting like a fucking nut.
Okay, so like I said, yes, your thoughts create your feelings, but they are two separate things. And your feelings are valid. Your thoughts are valid. How you think and feel is valid. And she's completely trying to invalidate your feelings. Okay, so if you have a problem changing your thoughts, if you're having repetitive or intrusive or unwanted thoughts, that's not something that people can consciously control in most cases. And anybody with a background in psychology who understands the way the amygdala works understands that sometimes the amygdala hijacks the conscious mind. So yes, your subconscious mind is very important, very, very, very key to a lot of things, a lot of our reactions, our beliefs, our thoughts, our feelings. But my problem as a hypnotherapist, when I start watching these people, is they don't know what they're talking about. They do not know or understand how the subconscious mind works, how it's developed or how it's programmed, how to change it. They pretend like they think they know what they're talking about, but no, they don't.
But damn it, don't tell me you've changed your thinking and you're still acting like that. Are you for real?
So welcome to Loz, Subconscious Loz. Isn't she a gem? Isn't she just lovely? Just lovely. So why would anybody want to pay her to berate you, yell at you? Like, honestly, entering into a coaching relationship with Subconscious Loz is on par with entering a domestic violent relationship, a toxic and abusive relationship. This is how she's talking to her potential and or legitimate clients. Okay, all right, let's move on. Let's move on to another video of hers. I want to illustrate not only the absurdity of Subconscious Loz. She's got a group on Facebook, her Subconscious Loz, the Squad group. We've got a lovely little Reddit post about that. But let's get to this video first. This one is not only her just being unhinged, but it's her being unhinged about a completely unhinged concept.
Thought transmission is always occurring in your 3D. That's how your 3D is created. That's why your SP's showing up the way they are. They have no free will. How are you not getting this, guys? Some of you, oh my God, it blows my mind. They have no free will. They have no free will. They have no free will. They can only receive your dominant thoughts. What are your dominant fucking thoughts?
So we're gonna skip through all of her self-promotion BS because I'm not trying to promote her. I just want you to see how completely unhinged she is and how completely unhinged the law of assumption is. I would never attack or blame the people who have fallen prey or victim to the law of assumption because I understand that the people who are falling prey to this are desperate, heartbroken, suffering from limerence, and they are desperately clinging to any hope that they can have, their person, their dream, their desire, whatever it is. And these people are dangerously encouraging limerence and delusion. No matter what this woman says, and no matter how unhinged she becomes when she says it, she does not know what she's talking about with the subconscious mind and thought transmission. Like, you cannot send your thoughts to another person. It doesn't work that way. Let's get back to Subconscious Loz, but just be aware that no, this woman is completely unhinged, and please, she needs a therapist. You don't need to be taking advice from someone who themselves are in need of a therapy so badly and in denial of their own psychosis.
lesson suggestion from the squad, and it's blowing my fucking mind because it means even the squaddies, even the people in my Subconscious Loz squad are not fucking listening to me. I must have a really strong assumption that you guys don't listen. I know I did because it was in the last YouTube video. Listen to this question and tell me what's wrong with this goddamn question.
Do you see how mad and mean she is? Like, this is not a chill person. This is not a person who practices what she preaches at all. So if you want to be angry and hostile, fine, go ahead and follow this woman and listen to her. But this is not a happy or mentally healthy human being, allegedly, in my opinion.
You've got half a clue about how this works. Holding old stories about a specific person, and is it only your new concept that is not reaching them? So this girl's got this assumption that whatever she's currently thinking isn't reaching them. So that's the first thing. Do they receive any thought transmission? Huh? If we are one consciousness, why do they only receive the needy energy that you may have, but not the positive affirmations you are working on? In this Loz lesson.
Oh, why do they only receive the bad, but not the good? And let's hear what her dumb excuse is going to be for that.
And I'll tell you everything that's wrong with this question and the fact that half of you aren't getting this about your specific person reflecting your fucking thinking. Guys, this question is making me want to jump off a cliff because this is actually in the squad.
The question is making her want to jump off a cliff. You heard her say that, right? You see the way she's acting. She's very unhinged. Loz, you need therapy.
Every assumption in this question is telling me that the person doesn't understand thought transmission at all, and doesn't understand that their specific person is reflecting them right fucking now, because all the assumptions in this question right fucking now are negative. You're telling me these are positive assumptions? You're having positive affirmations, are you, right now on this question? Read it again. Do they receive any thought transmission? If we are one consciousness, why do they only receive the needy energy that you may have? Well, do you have needy energy, do you? You may have needy energy, you're saying. So you're telling me right now that you have needy energy and you expect them to not get that, receive that. They're receiving it all the fucking time. What you guys don't get is that so many of you come to manifestation as something to do to change someone, and you think you're going to start manifesting. What you don't realize is you manifested the whole situation you've got yourself in that you're trying to manifest away.
And there goes the victim blaming. You did it. You manifested it with your shitty thinking. Your thoughts created it. Now, let me illustrate another example of why this isn't true. So when I was in high school, I had a high school sweetheart. I had a high school boyfriend. He is still to this day one of my best friends. We are super tight. We talk almost every day. You know, teenagers are insecure. We're hormonal. We're bitchy. We're not always peaches, okay? Especially teenage girls going through those hormones. The first of our life changes, right? That might start when we become menstruating women, but it doesn't stop there. The whole teenage years are one big influx of hormones and confusion and chaos. And while I've been in this relationship with this wonderful, committed man, I constantly, with my insecurity, was afraid this man was going to cheat on me. He was gorgeous. I had the hottest boyfriend in high school, and I was so afraid this man was going to cheat on me. I constantly had negative, shitty thinking. But guess what? Never once did he ever cheat on me. To this day, we were together for 5 years. He has been the most loyal man I've ever known in my life. He has not cheated on any woman he's ever been with. So, yeah, I had these shitty thoughts, and I kept thinking I would have those dreams. You know how women have dreams and our boyfriend cheats on us in our dreams, so we get mad at them in real life? That's a very common thing among women, right? And we often feel insecure, especially during our young formative teenage years. And we see all the other pretty girls and we feel like we're not as good as them and we can't hold a flame to them. And there's always someone better and smarter and prettier. And you know what? In life, there's always going to be someone better, prettier, smarter. And so I had this shittiest thinking. I was insecure. I was always afraid because this guy was gorgeous, that all these other girls that wanted him, that he was going to cheat on me or leave me. Never once did he stray. Never once did he cheat on me. This man didn't even ever do any of those stupid games that guys like to do to make girls jealous. He never even played those games, okay? Like, so this debunks everything she's saying, because I did have that shitty thinking, but my partner at the time did not reflect that. And then again, now let me again illustrate another relationship. My relationship after that was my marriage, my husband, okay? And I was madly in love with my husband, and I had all these hopes and dreams and this fantasy of what our relationship was going to be. And I say fantasy because the reality was a fucking nightmare. So the danger with what these coaches are saying is it's all your fault. It's a reflection of your thinking. No, it's not. My ex-husband almost killed me. That's a whole other story. If you don't know my story, I'll make another video for this channel about that. But my ex-husband almost killed me. That was not something that was in my thoughts ever at any point. Ever. Ever. Let me emphasize. Ever. That was never in my thoughts that he would do that to me. In the 90s, I was a riot girl. I was all, girl power, and not female supremacy, that I think women are better or that there's a superior gender, because I don't. It was about equality. And, I loved the Riot Girls and I loved Kathleen Hanna. The idea of ending up in a marriage with a man that would treat me the way my husband did, that would cheat on me, lie to me, and ultimately try to kill me, that was not in my subconscious thinking, my programming, my background at all, anywhere. So those are two instances in my personal life with relationships that completely debunk the law of assumption, and not only debunk what this crazy lady is saying, but you also have to understand that a lot of people in abusive relationships, those types of relationships are addictive. It's a cycle. It's an addictive cycle. So if you have somebody who is finally out of that addictive cycle and their abuser has blocked them, and this person is suffering limerence because they're addicted to this unhealthy cycle, it's an addiction, okay? And then you have a coach like this, or Sammy, or any of the other ones that are encouraging the limerence and encouraging this. You don't know what kind of psychotic person their SP might be. So encouraging somebody to be with someone who has told them to fuck off, or you know what, the person who's trying to manifest the SP might be the abuser. It's very, very dangerous what is going on here in this community. And I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep getting louder about it, because as a domestic violence survivor and as a hypnotherapist who actually does work with and understands the subconscious mind, oh, I take it personally. It's personal. This is personal.
So if you've lost your specific person because you acted like a needy bitch and now they've left, you've got to understand that you're currently thinking still old thoughts you had before. You're trying to put in new thoughts, but your old thoughts got transmitted to them very fucking easily before. And they were probably very dominant before. Are they still dominant now? That's why they're still receiving them now. And for you to ask this question, this person who's asked it and said, why do they only receive needy energy? You've got an assumption that it's not changing. You've got an assumption they're only receiving those thoughts. You've got an assumption nothing's happening with them. You've got an assumption old stories are still being sent out. You've got an assumption nothing's working. Because why would you even ask the question if you thought it was working? If you were getting results in your 3D with your specific person, would you ask this question? No. So this person's got a really strong assumption it isn't working, a really strong assumption their person's only receiving their negative thoughts. A really strong assumption they are needy and they don't understand thought transmission in any small way because they don't understand that they were transmitting thoughts to them before. Do they receive any thought transmission? Do they receive any thought transmission? Guys, they're receiving your thoughts all day long, 24 hours a day. You are one consciousness. How can you be one consciousness but they're not receiving it? You are one, correct?
Okay. Again, I have an example to refute what she's saying here. So when I was 19, and I'll make a whole video about this because I think it's important to talk about obsession, how dangerous obsession is, because this whole community wants to romanticize it. And I had a stalker when I was 19. It was a very scary situation. So there is nothing to romanticize about obsession. And on that note, with what she's saying here.
Guys, they're receiving your thoughts all day long, 24 hours a day. You are one consciousness. How can you be?
My roommate that became obsessed with me, that I had to get a restraining order against, he was schizophrenic. The schizophrenia wasn't the problem. It was the obsession that was the problem. It was the fact that this guy believed that he was talking to me. He was at the beach with our other roommate. I had two roommates, and they were both males. And the two guy roommates went out to go bonding. And the other roommate, I'll call him the drummer. The drummer roommate, he had pulled me aside separately and told me that when he was with the schizophrenic roommate, that the whole time they were out, he kept saying he was talking to me mentally and transmitting thoughts to me mentally, that we were one person, that we were connected, and it was freaking the drummer out. So he wanted to tell me about it. I did not hear that guy's thoughts at all. At no point when this man was obsessed with me and talking to me in his mind did I ever at any point hear his thoughts. I heard about it from that roommate, and I ended up hearing about it from other people we went to school with, because our roommate, the drummer, was not the only person he would say that stuff to. He would say that me and him shared a consciousness, shared a mind, and he was telepathically talking to me all the time. No. This is why I'm telling you the law of assumption is mental illness. It is not a law. These people that are pretending it is, they are either knowingly scamming you, or they themselves are mentally ill and need treatment and therapy, allegedly, in my opinion. They do not have any business teaching you or encouraging you to go full Delulu, become obsessed. These people are crossing very dangerous lines. You need to be aware of it. You need to hear it. I'm hoping this series wakes people up, and that people who didn't know about it now know about it and start spreading awareness to anyone in their life that might be suffering from law of assumption, delusion. If you know anyone in your life that is suffering from law of assumption delusion, I really hope this series helps you understand and hear what it is that these coaches are saying. We're going to go through all of them, as many of them as possible, but one at a time. And Loz, do you hear her? Like, do you see the way she's getting so agitated? This is not a person who is unbothered by 3D circumstances. This is a person who is seeing what's in front of her in the 3D and is not only triggered by it, but she's cussing and completely unhinged. This right here is an unhinged person. This is the definition of it. This is a mentally unwell human being. And I'm very concerned for her, and I'm even more concerned for her followers.
Be one consciousness, but they're not receiving it. You are one, correct? Aren't they receiving everything? What in the world? Guys, some of you blow my mind with this. You come in and you think you understand what I'm saying. You fundamentally think you understand manifesting a specific person. You come to me and you say, I'm so glad I found you, Loz. I'm so glad I found you, because I was watching Law of Attraction coaches and they were teaching me about vibration and the universe will decide. I'm so glad I found you. Or I'm so glad I found you, Loz, because other people were confusing me about self-concept and telling me I had to robotically affirm or regulate my emotions, and all I had to do was think differently about myself. I'm so glad I found you, Loz, because before I was concentrating so much on my specific person, and now I'm actually changing me and focusing on myself. And then you still don't get it. And then you still don't get that they received all the thoughts you had before that caused you to break up. They are receiving all the thoughts right now that are causing them to not prioritize you. You are causing yourself to have to set boundaries with them because your shitty thinking about them is causing them to act like a dick, whereby you feel like you need to say something, but it's actually your thoughts about them being a dick that's causing them to act like a dick. Guys, if you are in my squad right now and you are writing questions like this, and there are a plethora of questions, Loz lesson suggestions here in the squad, and you're asking me about what do we do about setting boundaries, or they're not showing up right yet, or do they really receive the thoughts, please go back right now.
No, they do not receive your thoughts. If that's your question, no, I'm sorry. That's not happening. If you're talking to their picture, they're not hearing it. Your SP is not hearing any of your thoughts. And it is absolutely crazy to think that other people can hear your thoughts. They can't. Now, when it comes to that whole thing that people say of, I thought about this person and I hadn't heard from them in years, and all of a sudden I hadn't thought about them and they called me. We are all energy. I 100% believe, yes, we are all energy. We all come from the same source, but that does not mean that we are all the same hive mind. I don't believe in a hive mind. So I believe 100%, yes, we're all energy. So maybe you have an energetic, psychic, connection to somebody. So you might think about them and they call you because maybe they are also thinking of you. But that's not thought transmission. You're not hearing their thoughts and they're not hearing your thoughts.
While it's still in the squad, and watch part 1 of Be Their Priority, because you aren't listening and you aren't getting it yet. Some of you need to watch my videos over and fucking over 5 or 6 times to really let it sink in.
Don't do that. Don't watch her videos 5 and 6 times, because when you guys do that, you're just giving her more views and that's giving her more money. Stop giving people like this your money. They don't deserve it. Stop. Anytime you think about giving money to a coach, a manifestation coach, I want you to take that money and put it in a jar, and at the end of the year, go do something nice for yourself.
A lot of people said when they watch Back and Begging, they watched the first video like 10 to 20 times because they didn't really understand everything they were doing wrong to manifest their specific person. And if you're manifesting your specific person, go and get that course, Back and Begging, okay?
If you have to watch her videos 20 times because it's not working, it's because it doesn't work. It's that simple. Common sense, people. Common sense, please. I need you guys to use your critical thinking, okay? I'm a hypnotherapist telling you to use your critical thinking. No. If you have to watch someone's videos 20 times to get something that is such a simple concept, it's not a simple concept.
Right? Because some of you are fucking lost about the process of this and how it's just you. It's just you. I don't know how many different ways. I'm doing one of my frustrated videos again because, guys, I've been speaking about this for 3 years.
All of her videos are frustrated videos.
I know some of you are new, but if you're in the squad right now and you're asking me questions about, this blows my mind. Do they get the thought transmission? Do they receive any thought transmission? I feel like I want to open up my balcony, jump into the ocean and drown myself reading that.
How unhinged is that? Seriously. Look at her face. This is an unhinged, mentally unwell person talking about unaliving herself because other people are not able to do thought transmission. She wants to unalive herself because you can't do thought transmission. Do you understand how batshit this is?
And this person's in the squad. This person's in the squad, the place where we're meant to be learning from me and understanding these principles completely and utterly and not having to ask questions about the fundamentals. If you don't understand that your specific person is reflecting you right fucking now, if you don't understand that every single negative thought and positive thought you hold dominantly is being sent to them, then you're not going to get this. So this person thinks, oh, but they mustn't be receiving any of my new positive affirmations because nothing's changed. That's her assumption. But unfortunately, she's obviously got so much negative thinking still about her and about him that He's still showing up the same way he was before, so nothing's being shown to her in 3D, showing her it's changing. So she thinks thought transmission isn't occurring. Thought transmission is always occurring in your 3D. That's how your 3D is created.
It's not. It's not at all. Not at all. Because if that was the case, then my marriage would have been a happy, blissful marriage. My high school sweetheart would have cheated on me. She's a liar. That's not how reality works. Not at all. That's not at all how reality works. She's a charlatan, a scammer, and a fraud. And while she's talking about the squad, yeah, you know what? Let's hop over to Reddit for a second. Go ahead and read this with me or pause the screen and read it to yourself. This was off of a Reddit thread. Subconscious Loz squad is a ripoff. Don't bother. Bought the squad membership a few months ago. It's literally not any different from the normal FB group, and I swear even more success stories on the normal FB group, and no one answers your Q&A, and they close it within a few days even when they don't answer. Also, if you cancel your membership, despite the condition of it giving you access until the end of when you paid, they'll remove you from the squad prematurely, which is a load of bullocks. And no offense, but I clocked she never talks about her love life, which, okay, fair enough, privacy. But if the main thing you're coaching is love and screaming at people, how come you're not married or at least able to clarify you're in a good position in love? Make it make sense. She claims to be focused on self-concepts, but even the affirmations, including her February love challenge, was just shitty affirmations about SP and doing mirror work like nothing worth paying for. Her courses are also shitty psychology stuff you can legit Google attachment style or get a therapist. Neville never said you need to do all that. All she does is perpetrate lack by thinking all the time of, this happened because of my childhood trauma. That's nothing to do with Neville. She makes you think you're a god in an egotistical sense and can control people, which isn't really the essence of manifesting or Neville. I wouldn't be shocked that the reason things don't work out in her love life is simply due to her grandiose sense of self as a poor excuse of self-concept. Thinking you're amazing and sexy is helpful, but nothing to do with true unconditional love, darling. There you have it. Her squad, not worth paying for. And that coming to you from somebody who did pay for her squad. So even her squaddies don't listen to her because her shit doesn't work. She is a modern day snake oil saleswoman. As a hypnotherapist, what offends me about this woman specifically is she pretends like and starts to talk about things that are rooted in reality and psychology and in the subconscious mind. So the Dunning-Kruger effect, that applies to her big time. These people don't understand the way the subconscious works, but want to pretend like they do. And I mean, come on. Anybody who is genuinely confident in what they do and believes in what they do, they don't get so triggered like this.
That's why your SB's showing up the way they are. They have no free will. How are you not getting this, guys? Some of you, oh my God, it blows my mind. They have no free will. They have no free will. They have no free will. They can only receive your dominant thoughts. What are your dominant fucking thoughts?
My dominant thought is this woman is one of the most unhinged people on the internet.
Oh, well, my dominant fucking thoughts are, Loz, that he doesn't receive my thoughts and nothing's changing, and he doesn't want to do what I want, and he doesn't want what I want, and he doesn't actually want me. Okay. So if thought transmission is constant, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because we're one consciousness, tell me all the negative thoughts you just had then. Oh, well, I thought I was being positive by doing positive affirmations, but actually right then I had a whole lot of assumptions, didn't I, that he wasn't receiving my thoughts, he didn't want me, and he wasn't changing. Right. So what is doing positive affirmations all day going to do to change that shit you haven't changed? You think you might want to change that shit? Oh, so me just doing positive affirmations isn't going to work if I'm still thinking all that crap. And I still have an assumption this doesn't work. And I still don't understand they're receiving the thoughts. And I still don't believe in my power and believe they're going to change because they have no free will. They're just reflecting me.
I will say this again and again and again and again. If you believe other people don't have free will, I mean, unless you're like Robert Sapolsky, who that's his whole thing. Robert Sapolsky, the professor from Stanford, I find some of his lectures to be completely fascinating. I enjoy watching him. I don't necessarily agree with him on the people don't have free will, but at least he has a whole philosophy and a whole theory on why he thinks this, and it's not tied up with the law of assumption. As far as law of assumption goes, yes, your SP has free will. Your SP has the free will to reject you. The person you want has the free will to say no, no matter how many times you affirm to their picture that they're obsessed with you, in love with you, want you. What she says is not the truth.
You're getting it. Guys, they're just reflecting you. I don't, like, honestly, do you want me just to say it over and over and over and over in every video at the beginning? They're just reflecting you. They're just reflecting you. They're just reflecting you. They're just reflecting you. You have to change because they're just reflecting you.
It's
Stop
all
thinking
you.
they've got
It's
free
all
will.
your
They're
fault.
just
Everything's
reflecting
your
you.
fault. It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
Everything
It's
you're
all your fault.
dominantly thinking right now, they're reflecting. If you haven't changed what you're dominantly thinking before, they're still reflecting that because you're still thinking it, aren't you?
Look at her. This right here, this is the face of a psycho lunatic. While she's calling you psycho lunatic, it's projection. She's projecting. Whenever she's calling you a psycho lunatic, this face right here is projecting. This is the psycho lunatic.
They're just reflecting you. They're just reflecting you.
They're not reflecting you. They're not reflecting you. They're not reflecting you. They're not reflecting you. I promise. I swear on all of my children's lives, they're not reflecting you. They are their own people with their own autonomy and their own thoughts. They're not reflecting you. If you think they are, please get a therapist. If you need help finding a therapist, I'll help you find a therapist. Get a hold of me. We'll go on Psychology Today. We will find a fucking therapist for you. Get a therapist. If you think other people are reflecting you, that you're the only one that matters, that they don't have free will, if you believe anything that this psycho lunatic is telling you, we will find you a therapist. Get a hold of me. We'll go on Psychology Today. I will help you make phone calls. I will hold your hand, whatever we need to do to get you an actual therapist. No, this is a psycho lunatic right here. Allegedly, in my opinion, of course.
Just reflecting you. They're just reflecting you. Oh, but are they receiving my thoughts? Oh my God, kill me now.
Again, kill me now.
People need to read the basics of Neville. No fucking shit. Thank you, darling.
Basically, what he's trying to do is interpret the Bible in a different way. I'm not a Bible thumper. The man was a charlatan with his own interpretation of the Bible. That's all. So why would you take advice from him?
Please go and educate yourself. Please, I'm begging you.
I'm begging her to please go educate herself about limerence and psychology. Stop listening to these coaches and start reading about the brain. Start reading about neuroscience and psychology. Understand what limerence is.
Like, do they receive any thought transmission?
No, they don't.
Do they receive any thought transmission?
No,
yes,
they
darling.
don't.
They're receiving your thought transmission right
they're
now
not.
that this isn't working,
No,
that you don't trust yourself, that they're making their own decisions and they don't want you.
They are making their own decisions. And if they've told you they don't want you, well, then believe them because they don't want you. Sorry. I know it hurts. Rejection hurts. Rejection sucks. That's why people end their lives over relationships because rejection hurts. It hurts. It hurts. I think there's nothing more painful than heartbreak. So if you're watching this and you're suffering heartbreak and you've fallen into the law of assumption trap because you're suffering limerence, because you have heartbreak, and because you desperately want an SP and you really want me to be wrong and you hate me because you don't want me to be right, that's fine. I understand where you're coming from. I've been there. I've suffered heartbreak. I know heartbreak is the absolute worst feeling in the world. I don't think there's anything. Grief and heartbreak. Those are the two things. Those are the two worst things anyone can go through emotionally, okay? I understand. So if you have fallen victim to these people because you're heartbroken, because you desperately want somebody else to love you who has told you they don't love you, who's moved on, who's blocked you, or maybe even filed a restraining order against you, please do yourself a favor. Understand right now, the law of assumption coaches are lying to you. They want your money. They don't give a shit if you ever get your person or not. These people are encouraging you down a very dangerous, dark, and deadly path. Please get help. If you're suffering limerence or heartbreak, I understand. I get it. Trust me, I get it. Get help. These people are not your friend.
Receiving it loud and clear, and that's why they're not back. Ta-da! It worked magically. That thought transmission is working right fucking now. They're also receiving the thoughts that you have needy energy and your positive affirmations aren't working. They're all your thoughts. They're in your question.
We're going to go on to another video because I cannot keep watching this one of... Let's move on to the other one.